Well, good morning. Again, it's 11:11:11, or 11:11, I mean. Only two of them, not three. Wow. Anyway, uh, I sort of rushed here. When I went to light the candles, well, actually, I forgot to light three of the candles until just about a few seconds before it was ready to begin. Anyway, got to catch my breath because I've been running all morning doing household chores, laundry, and other things. The title that I've chosen for today's video is this: It's time to stop making excuses for criminal behavior. All right, I will acknowledge that the role that has been played by the dark hats in our world, the Illuminati, the cabal, or whatever you wish to call them, has likely been an essential ingredient in the awakening of mankind. Humans tend to be quite lazy and apathetic without strong medicine to give us a jolt. In that respect, we can be thankful for those that have played this role. However, humanity is now more awake than ever, and many people all over the planet are yelling, "Enough already!" The job these cosmic outlaws have been doing is no longer wanted or needed. Nevertheless, there are still people trying to make excuses for the criminal behavior of our governments. As I see it, that must stop. We must call for an end to the massive corruption in our institutions so that we can bring a better world into existence. That's my blurb, and I'm going to follow up by actually reading a press release from a friend of mine in South Africa that I received yesterday. Her name is Anthea, and that's all you need to know at this point. She opens it with yelling, which means all capital letters, "They have no power save what we give them. Wake up, people of South Africa and world. Stand up and take back your freedom." And then she tells her story, and she gave me permission to read this as part of today's video. 3 years ago, I was paid a visit by a polite, unsuspecting building inspector from the city of Cape Town, telling me that I was acting criminally as I was erecting a sanctuary without the permission of the city of Cape Town. The truth of it was that I had become aware that the city of Cape Town, the Republic of South Africa, and all the municipal and government activities, courts, police, etc., are in fact listed international companies and there to make money, a fact that is verifiable if you choose to do your research. She provided a link, but I'm not going to provide that link. I have been hounded, harassed, ridiculed, and even jailed for my refusal to contribute to the corporatized monetary system that has enslaved us all for eons of time, and I am not the only one. Millions of people over the world are waking up, and it is time for us all to stand in solidarity for our inherent and unalienable right to freedom. The words of a retired Judge Dale in the USA, quote, "In order for a governing body to create and enforce any law, they must be sovereign, the law of kings, or they must have a contractual relationship with you based on the law of contracts. Corporations cannot be sovereign because they are legal fictions. Legal fictions have no authority over a living man because all living men, women are creations of God and thus sovereign by their creation. So the corporations fraudulently convert the living man into a corporation via registration at birth and the subsequent ID number so that they can compel him or her by contract. So make them produce the contract." Listen to that. Make them produce the contract. These same principles apply worldwide. We have all been held in bondage by the central banking system, the Federal Reserve Bank, IMF, etc., which in turn control all reserve banking operations throughout the monetized corporate government world, which is 99% of all countries, that force us to obey their statutory laws, which are not common laws, to fill up the coffers via rates, taxes, fines, registrations, repossessions, etc., of the central banks that are owned by a few families. Do your own research. It is all about fictitious fiat issued by decree on demand of a loan, money, with nothing back of it, and is nothing more than a computer entry and some notes and coins. We are the value, and yet we are enslaved by this system by our continued acquiescence to it. Let's stop it. In the name of God and all that is good, let's all stop acting in this slavery system right now. Only we can do it. Millions lose their dignity, hope, homes, possessions, and businesses as they do not know the truth. There is enough inherent wealth in the land of this southern African region and all countries of the world to provide a means of exchange for all people. We do not need to pay to live on earth. By the way, on the 25th of December 2012, the people of the world were told via independent, not controlled media outlets that paperwork was done over the last few years via a set of UCC filings, Uniform Commercial Code, a notice to the world by those registering that they wish to act in commerce and trade and abide by the UCC Universal Code of Conduct, foreclosing all monetized corporate governments and banks for operating illegal slavery systems without the consent of the people. She provides the link, www.i-uv.com. She says, I am appearing in 2 corporate courts next week, the High Court of Cape Town on Tuesday the 15th and Simon's Town Magistrate Court on the 16th to state my case. That, and she has again all capital letters, I am a living woman and I do not accept this offer to contract and I do not consent to these proceedings. So be it. You can do the same with all offers to contract with your ID number. Now, my friend Neil has studied with a group, and I don't even remember the group's name, but I've studied their stuff for a time, and they try to convince you and try to convince the people that are part of that group that the admiralty courts or our existing corporate governance structure is a gracious gift. And common law, as they teach, is a very rigid, unforgiving thing. Yes, it is, in this respect. Everybody is accountable and responsible for his or her actions. Nobody gets away with anything. If you cause harm or loss or violate another's free will, there's a price to be paid. It might be the loss of your freedom to be rehabilitated into the community. However, this group teaches that the straw man being created is actually a good thing. It gives us something to hide behind so that we're not held accountable in our ignorance. In other words, it's something that's created for us because we're stupid and we don't know who we are, which is true that we don't know who we are. It's true that we're pretty ignorant. It's true that we've been pretty stupid, but we are waking up. Every day, hundreds and hundreds more people, maybe even thousands around the world, are coming to realize that the system that we're living under is a corrupt system, and the system where we have to pay to live on the planet we were born on is an absolute insanity when we are the value and the resources are ours to share. Now, someone sent me a thing about the UK, about the distribution of wealth, and the same thing has been produced in the United States, where 1% of the people have 60% of the wealth. And the bottom 1% of the people have pennies. They don't even register on the chart. This is a totally unfair thing, and I want you to get something straight. The people that have all the wealth, they've stolen it from you and me and from the rest of the world. They've stolen it. Their actions are unlawful by universal law. Universal common law says do no harm. They have harmed every man, woman, and child on this planet. And in addition to the human family, they have devastated parts of the earth that's going to take some time and some higher technology to repair the damage they've done to our water, to the oceans, to the air, to the land itself, and to the food. I mean, they have devastated many things because they have this idea that there are too many people on Earth. That's insane. There can never be too many people on Earth because Earth will expand to meet its population. Earth, if you let nature, if you work with nature instead of against it, everything will be provided. Everything is provided. All of the resources we need to thrive as human beings exists in our world. But our world has been under a criminal cabal, a criminal system. The matrix has been made not to serve humanity, but to enslave humanity. It's time that we wake up. It's time that all of us, with a very loud voice, say to the judges, say to the police, say to our politicians, say to the media heads, say to the CEOs of multinational corporations, enough already. Stop it. We got it. You've allowed us to learn. Now either join with us in creating a better world for everybody, or I don't know what the or. Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. If it was up to me, and it's not, if it was up to me, I would have them removed from all power positions, all the ability to exercise control over anyone, and give them a chance to go to a prison, if you will, where they could contemplate on what they're doing and hopefully, like the prodigal son, come to their senses and say, hey, what the hell role was I playing? Because even if they're playing a positive role in a negative way, they are still accountable for the crimes that they commit. And in common law, if you harm another or violate another's free will, you are committing a crime. That's the law. That's cosmic law. And you may not like it. You may not want to agree with it, but that's cosmic law. And it's time to stop. I mean, Neil and these other people, they say, well, what we've got to do is we've got to learn how to be shrewd. And we've got to learn how to play their game so that we can outwit them at their own game. Why? We are the sovereigns. It's our natural inheritance. Our natural inheritance. It's our birthright. We were born sovereign. It's time that we recognize what that means and step into our sovereignty. But we shouldn't have to play games in the fraudulent system in order to claim back our power. That's insane. That's absolutely, absolutely insane to think that we should, that we need to honor something that is inherently dishonorable in and of itself. The judges and the lawyers in our world are probably the largest criminal class on the face of the earth, well, along with the bankers. Because those three professions, more than any other, work together to enslave humanity and make life hell on earth for as many people as they can possibly make it. I want you to get it straight. Corporations, cannot own anything. They are legal fictions. And everything that they produce is a legal fiction. Everything is fraudulent. There is no statute of limitations on fraud. Fraud is always punishable forever. You have to be accountable. Every man, woman, every sentient being has to be accountable for our actions. That is taking responsibility. Yes, that may seem rigid, but it's the only thing that's just and fair. There is no justice. There is no fairness. There is no truth in a legal fiction system. Truth doesn't even exist. The law is overlooked. That's why I said that they are outlaws. They are cosmic outlaws. Now, maybe there were some ETs that are cosmic outlaws. I honestly believe they've already been dealt with at the higher levels. The problem is there are people on Earth that are still trying to maintain the status quo of the old system, including people that claim to be loving and light workers, like my friend Neil and many others that want to support the criminal court system. And it is a criminal court system, as my friend Anthea from South Africa said. But she's just one of many around the world that are wanting and working hard to stand up to these people and say no. And we're wanting to create a world, as I've said so many times, that works for everybody, even the criminals. And the way it needs to work for the criminals is they need to find a place of true repentance. They need to stop doing their dastardly deeds. And if you see them drowning somebody or hurting somebody, it's our responsibility to protest and say, stop it. And that means armed police, soldiers, or anything. Stop it. Now, maybe some of us are going to get killed. They've been really good at killing people. They've been really good at stealing from people. They've been really good at hurting people and assaulting people. We need to say, stop it. It's not acceptable behavior anymore. It's time that we move into the new paradigm and bridge from the old to the new and create a system of justice and fairness based on truth, based on compassion, based on mercy. And we need to do it now. Now is the time. We're the ones we've been waiting for. It's time to do it. Let's go for it and stop making excuses for criminal behavior wherever it's found, especially at the highest echelons of government and institutions in our world. Thank you for listening. Namaste.